Good evening, everyone. Let's call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority. It is November 17, 2014. We'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Here.
Dow.
Here.
Moxley.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Norman.
Here.
Nation.
Here.
Wade.
Here.
Warner. Johnson.
Here. I do declare a quorum. We'll have the invocation now. Reverend Steve Smith. I know you're working on that, Doctor.
I like that doctor myself. But thank you for the opportunity, I appreciate it. Let's pray, all right? Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, first offering thanksgiving to the beautiful day that you've given us, the opportunity, Lord, of your blessing to be upon our lives, the opportunity, Lord, that you've given each one of us to have your comfort in your presence. We thank you, Lord, for this evening, and we pray, Heavenly Father, through the actions that are taken here, your name will be honored, not only for yourself, but also, Lord, we pray for the community and the citizens of this community. Thank you, Lord, for those here on the council who have given their time to do their best for the community, and we give you praise for that too. Again, Lord, thank you for the opportunity to have life today, and we pray for another good day tomorrow, and may we be responsible in how we treat tomorrow as it reflects upon you. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. First item on the agenda for the municipal authority is the consent agenda. It has 3 items. Receive and approve the minutes of the regular PMA meeting of November 3rd, 2014. B, to approve the 2015 PMA meet schedule. And C, approve the 2015 PMA holiday schedule.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item number 4 concerning the PMA is comments from those assembled. Does anyone have any comments to make before the PMA? Comments for the PMA? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, which is proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Council? Seeing none. Item 6 is the acknowledgement of a receipt of a permit number WL 000521408787 for the water line relocation of the State Highway 86 for the bridge replacement. This is a requirement. We had to get this permit through ODEQ for the runoff permit. How say you, Council?
Good to make a motion for this, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, make a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 7 is acknowledgement of receipt of permit number SL 4052140788 for the sanitary sewer line relocation on State Highway 86 bridge replacement project.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Council, is there any new business need to be brought before the PMA tonight? Seeing none, item 9, please.
Motion adjourned. Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. It is 6:19 p.m. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Perry, November 17, 2014. Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Here.
Dow.
Here.
Moxley.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Norman. Nation.
Here.
Wade.
Here.
Warner. Johnson.
Yes. Item 1 is the consent agenda. Council, you see it listed there and had the reports included in your packet. Is there any questions or any items you wish removed for further consideration or discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, roll call please.
Stroller,
Yes.
Dow,
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 4, this is where we ask, if there's any comments from those assembled. We note there are a number of you who want to speak. If you would please keep your public announcements to 2 minutes, and we'll try and get through everyone that's here and wishes to speak. If you do wish to speak, you need to stand up, come to the podium, and announce your name, all except for Connie. She's special. I thought it was the back or the chair. All right, so this is the point in the meeting, where we have our comments from you that are visiting the council tonight. Reverend Steve, can you announce your name for the record, please?
You bet. Steve Smith, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak. I'm coming, kind of representing Ministerial Alliance and also myself and our church. Just have concerns, great concerns really, on the location of the casino that is coming in. Not so much that a casino is coming in, that's not really the item that we want to deal with tonight anyway, but the location. And my question tonight would be what I've heard, and hopefully what I've been able to decipher what's true and what's not. This is really a situation where the city council and the city has kind of been caught between a rock and a hard place, and not a whole lot that you can do about a lot of the issues. But I'm wondering, have we exhausted the opportunity to push back on this if it is something that we don't want to see inside the city limits in a neighborhood?
In our conversations with not only the attorney for the tribe, but other conversations I've had with other attorneys that I've known through history of being an engineer dealing with the tribes on many projects dating back into the 70s. This trust property is very unusual. You probably would never see it again hardly anywhere where a lot becomes trust land. But it indeed did in 1973. That gives the tribe all authority over that piece of property. It does not have to conform to city ordinances in any way. The tribe came to us and told us what they were going to do, and we, through our attorney, through ourselves, have tried to negotiate with them and speak to them about this lot and where it's located, and they are going to build this facility. Our offers of trading land, providing other locations, does not work under the new guidelines that were passed in 1998 to deal with casinos being located where a tribe just go buy a piece of land, they put a casino on it, it comes in as tribal land. Well, that deals with that, and so we could provide them any piece of land we wanted to, and it would not be trust land.
Right.
Even if they bought it with trust money. That's what makes this one unique. It was bought in '73 with land from proceeds from trust land, and so it automatically became trust land. But that all changed in 1998 with the Oklahoma Gaming Act to prevent them from buying land anywhere and just saying, well, that's our land, we can put a casino on. And that's not just a gaming act, that was an agreement between the state and the tribes to try and keep them from just sprouting up everywhere. They do not have to conform to our zoning ordinances on that tract or anything, but I want to assure you and the other members of the Alliance that we did speak to them, we did offer properties, we did try and get them to relocate, but the thing is, to get a piece of property from just Oklahoma land and to be trust land is almost an act of Congress in itself, that it will take somewhere between 7 to 10 years if everything goes well. If there's anyone against that, it won't happen. That means the other tribes may be against it because it's not in land of their jurisdiction historically. The city has to announce that we truly want this casino and we want it right there. If that didn't happen from not only the council, but for prominent members of the community, such as you, it might not happen. The BIA and the Bureau of Land control those trust land agreements. So our offers of other properties, up to 30 acres, wouldn't work for them because this land's already trust. They don't have to jump through the hoops. They don't have to wait 7 years. They don't have to wait at all. And so they came to us with their plan, and they had already purchased the lots adjacent to it to the south for parking. As any commercial developer along Highway 77 would request, we will furnish them the utilities. We will rezone those 2 lots so they can put parking on it. But if we didn't, what would that make us look like? What would that make our community look like? That's their land. They can put a 2-story building on it, they can put a 40-story building on it. It's their land. My heartache is the same heartache you have. When I heard about this, I went home and told my wife, living in a neighborhood, I can't think of anything worse happening to me. But the truth is, they are policed very well by the tribes themselves. You don't hear of crimes that I've even heard of concerning casinos in a great amount as you would nightclubs and such in other communities. We have their guarantee that they will have officers on duty 24/7. They have agreements where they're working with the county sheriff's department on an intergovernmental agreement to help them out in case someone does get out on the road that they do not want to leave in any condition. This facility will have 150 games, electronic games, and it'll have offices on the 2nd floor. For any of you in the neighborhood, I'm sorry, we tried our best to get this located somewhere else. The situation of the nations is where have they been historically? What was their boundaries historically? And they can't vary from that a great deal unless they have support of not only the communities, but the other tribes in the area. So you can see where they have this. They don't have to worry about anything as far as getting it put into trust. It's trust. It's put in 1973. The rules didn't change until 1998. And so those offers we made in good faith and really, really desired to make would not work for them. They figured to the penny the success and profits of this location. And I can go on further, but I'd just be repeating myself. And again, I just say we tried our best.
Well, I appreciate that, Mayor, and I appreciate that explanation of that. Let me just leave with this thought if I could. One thing that you said, and I hope that I got it right, is that you never have and never will deny anybody on 77 utilities and that sort of thing if they're wanting to build there. Let me just caution that's a dangerous statement because you never know who wants to come in and what they're going to bring in. And so if it is something that we are against, especially in this area, in a neighborhood, being a casino or whatever it might be, I would caution using that logic because you're not for sure what's going to come around the corner. And I know you'll think that through, and the council will think that through, but there's always tomorrow, and you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So there are some fights that's worth picking and going the distance on. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Richard Redden, I live at 1103 North 6th Street. I understand that that has to be rezoned to a commercial parking lot. that will affect our immediate dwellings and cost, right? Value. And I'm understanding that we're within 300 feet of impact of that area. We have the right to say something about it.
You sure did.
We own 2 properties that's within 300 feet of it. And we want to stand to saying no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brad Mitchell, 1212 6th Street, 1 block north. The rezoning, how large of an area will that include?
2 lots.
Just those lots there? Okay. But then it of course affects all the residential around that commercial lot then? Okay. I was just curious, you said that, you know, they've got this free and clear and they don't want to have to jump through other hoops. They're not the ones that are being put out, it's the city of Perry and the residents of Perry that are being put out by it. Have we jumped, I mean, he already asked if we jumped through the hoops, but the question that I had was, Bureau of Indian Affairs and whoever the other regulatory agencies are, have we gone to them and explained what the situation is here to see whether or not there could be a deviance to the normal process of 7 years to say the city is willing to do this in, you know, into exchange, if you will work with us and allow us to then remove this from the center of our residential area to a more appropriate area for this type of activity.
That's where you run into the traps that they don't want to go through.
Even if we're doing the work.
We offered land on I-35, they couldn't accept it. They've never been.
Question is though, would we be willing to go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs?
And find out whether or not it could be done.
It can't be done. It involves the Department of Interior. The Federal Department of Interior is the one that makes the decisions. And I was involved in the one in Tonkawa. In Tonkawa, they wanted a casino on I-35. The governing body wanted one up there. And in fact, the city acquired a tract on a farmer's property on the west side of I-35 and gave that option to the tribe. It then took the tribe 7 or 8 years to get that done. Now, I'm not an Indian lawyer. Indian lawyers get paid about six or 7 times per hour what I make, so they're, you know, a whole lot more expensive of a lawyer than I am. But I have been involved in it long enough to know that it's a rather onerous process. Sure, I mean, the city would have to support it, the county would have to support it, the legislators would have to support it, Mary Fallon would have to support it. I mean, it has to be, you know, tied into the governor. But getting a petition through the Department of Interior, you know, the fastest would be 5 years. The slowest would be like 10 years, and that is if they could get it done. And from the perspective of the tribe, you know, what they have is they have a right to put a gaming facility on that property, you know, now. When I say now, I mean, I don't mean today, because they still have to get, you know, some of those permissions, because they still have to take their petition through the Department of Interior. But if it's trust land, it's allowed. And that, of course, is what we were up against. That they have a business right to use that property and no other property, you know, in this entire community for that purpose. And so that is their diamond. That is their gold mine. That property is their property. And what we offered, and we offered them a number of things. One, nobody here wanted that location. And so they sent me to the Indians to, you know, ask the tribe if they would consider a different location. I structured another contract where we agreed to sell them property out at the industrial, out at the South Commercial Park. And if they got that put into trust, then they would stop using this property. And that's what we kind of felt would be, you know, at least some victory. If they started it now, but once they set up a new one, they would stop using this one. We could at least, you know, claim a success there, because we would have, it looked like it was the only way we could stop them, allow them, but stop them, okay? And we put that document together. Then we found out the, you know, how hard it would be to actually to get that through. Now that still is possible. They have said that if they did set up another gaming establishment somewhere else, that the town couldn't tolerate two of them. I mean, there just isn't enough business here to do two of them. That is what they have said. So, you know, there might be an opportunity to get them to agree, like we did in this other agreement, if they accepted it, if they put one out at I-35 or in some location, that they would stop this one. And we did have that agreement in front of them. And they very well may have approved that agreement, but it was really just an effort in hopes and dreams and wishes, because you know, it would take up to 10 years to see if they got that, and this other one would still be going. So what they have is they have this valuable property right to the extent of any other property in the town that they can make money on back for their tribe, and that collides with the fact that we and everybody up here and in the community knows that placing that use in a residential district is not really, you know, probably the best use for that area, and everyone knows that. It's just knowing what the rules are at the federal government and the state government, the local government, how much you can do, how much you can push. The agreement that we had on the table appeared to be an appropriate one, but we certainly understand the community's feeling.
And thank you for letting me speak. I'm sorry if this will come across negative, but it seems to me like the amount that they've chosen to compensate us with is enough to make it not worth our time to try and do the legwork necessary to speak with the state and stuff and you know, try harder to keep it out. And it's just going to affect our property values there that are around it, and we don't have any right in that now. And we're just going to take what comes. And so, thanks for whatever you tried to do.
Go right ahead, Connie, I'll yield to you.
I want to thank you for letting us come and speak to you, and for the careful consideration I've seen you have with our questions. I have a comment. I know you said, what would it look like if we didn't zone the parking? I know that the city has that ability to not zone that parking, and I think it might look like you were following the wishes of your constituency, because none of us here are wanting this casino in that neighborhood. And we understand your hands are tied on that Indian land. There's not anything you can do about what is going on there. But you do have the ability, no matter what it looks like, to say, no, we will not zone the parking that is not on Indian land. And I think that would be something to consider. And I say that with all respect, but I would bring that to your attention.
That, of course, has to follow a procedure. And I think, as everybody knows, the contract that we signed said that the PMA signed it, they're the ones that have the utility, that they would use their good faith and best efforts to consider the zoning. That is one of the provisions in the agreement. But, any legislative action is a, notice to the property owners within 300 feet, posting of a notice in the newspaper, holding of a public hearing before the planning commission, recommendation to the planning commission back to the city council. That is a separate zoning planning, consideration. Of course, you've got to consider if there is no parking lot and the business is allowed there, where will people park, And, in the streets and the alleys and and then you've got to think about that whole side of it.
But that would be illegal parking, would it not?
Well, it all depends. I suppose you could go up and down the streets and put, no parking signs or put them all, but each thing begets another whole set of problems. But those hearings have to be held, that notice has to be given, and that's in the future.
Is that in the future? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
So has the zoning already been approved?
No.
Hasn't been considered yet.
Notified, right?
Yes, if you're within 300 feet, you will get a written letter telling you the date and time of the meeting.
Good evening, Mike Sullins, 1409 Collin. I was driving through the town this weekend and was noticing a lot of children playing in the streets in the last couple of weeks, and I'm really curious what the council and the city plans to do to protect our children, grandchildren. You're putting something like that if successful, could attract a lot of people driving in from other cities. What does the council plan to do to protect their citizens?
Well, number one, that was our main objective to this location, was it is a traffic generator. And there will have to be traffic control set up on that intersection. We also plan to and will review the site plans for that parking area. I don't want it to exit or enter unless it's on 77. Now, there might be some things there to cause them to just have one entrance, but I fully intend not to allow a driveway on 6th Street. That will come through again, that will be reviewed by the planning commission. That will be reviewed by us. That will be a contention, I'm sure, with the developers. But my plan is to keep all traffic I can off of 6th Street.
And so those that choose to come down I-35 and through the center of our town and down 6, any plans there to?
The traffic control that is described in the MUTCD is what controls the traffic. And we would just have to put up the stop signs, the traffic signals, or whatever is necessary.
What's the MUTCD?
Manual uniform traffic control devices.
Which is set
It's
by?
the standards.
It's a standard from the federal
standard.
government.
And is that something that the tribe pays for, or do we pay for it through our electric?
We have agreements in place to where we voiced our concerns about the traffic generator. They have committed to us to be partnered in that.
So they're gonna help pay for
Yes,
it, and
they're
I don't
gonna
have
partner
to pay for that out of my city.
They have
Perry
talked
bill.
about a light at 6th and the highway there, and getting the BIA, getting a grant to pay for a light there.
But that's not in our agreement.
And it's not in our
They do
agreement.
not have to do
No,
that.
it is not in our agreement. That has been a collateral discussion, but that could be a part of the site plan, because traffic, in your site plan, you consider lighting, drainage, access, traffic, curb cuts, lots of issues. So that could be something considered in the site plan.
And so the site plan, they supply that out of courtesy? Because they don't have to follow it, correct?
It's a
Well,
requirement.
It's a requirement on those lots. They have to do everything that's required on those lots.
Yeah, on the parking lots, when we have the hearing on the rezoning, there's not only a rezoning, there will be an application for a site plan, okay? Because they're making a use of commercial property. So there's the rezoning and there's the site plan. And as a part of the site plan, there's like 9 different considerations: access, drainage, parking, lighting, turn in, turn out. Traffic is a big part of that. And those items can be addressed as a part of the site plan.
Very good.
Now, one thing that complicates this a little bit, I think, is that for 64 and 77 are all state maintained. We, as a city, can't do anything with those streets, right?
We actually coordinate with ODOT if there's changes to, that we'd like to see on those particular locations. We work through ODOT. It's
But it's
not
up to
something
them.
that the city can just go do
Right.
on our own. We have to, work through ODOT.
So I guess to answer your question about Fur and 6th Street, that's really up to the state to do stuff. Whatever, if we recommend it, they'll have to approve it and do it. We couldn't do it on our own.
That would be too far from this project. There wouldn't be a rational nexus to require them to do something at Fur and 6th Street. But at 6th Street and the highway, that is within the nexus that they should be, yes, is a call,
Yeah.
that they should be concerned with.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Debbie Wallace. I live at 1302 North 2nd Street. There for almost 20 years with my elderly mom and my nephew. When I go up that street, I go up Locust every day. I pass a Head Start, the boys' baseball field. There's the Christian church, which also has a daycare. And then I stop at Cobb and go back down 6. Now, you said that we would, if I heard this right, that we would do the lights and get paid for the electricity and all that stuff. But if we don't want this in our community, isn't that kind of shaking hands with the devil? It's like, okay, you can have that, but we want the money from this, and not all money is good money. And every day at 2 o'clock, them boys that are headed out to the field, and they're young, they hit that street like it's a racing track. Every time there's a ball game, there's nowhere for people to park as it is. They park down all the streets, there's not room for the buses. They park along all as it is, and they're not lit up, but you're willing to go out of our way for something that we don't want. We don't want our kids to see it. And as far as criminal activity, I'm a sociology major, there is criminal activity with the casino. I worked in the casino for 6 months. I did the graveyard shift. It's an open playing field for anybody that doesn't sleep at night. It's a trouble for our police officers because these people that don't sleep at night that are doing what they're not supposed to be doing, they're gonna fit right on in that casino that's open 24 hours a day. What do you tell the little kids on the Head Start bus when they see this big old light and they think, oh, maybe that's a carnival? No, it's a casino. We don't want the casino, but we're getting paid for these 2 land properties for the electric, so it's okay? I don't understand.
No one said it's okay. It's something that's happening that we either make the best of it or get run over.
But you made a comment about what would we look like if we didn't do that. Who
Well-
cares what we look like to
Well,
the
the
tribe?
other commercial interest along there got their rezoning. The area of Highway 77 has commercial properties all up and down. This happens to be the closest no-good area to our residences for something to be put. But it is their land. We have no control. They can put a 2-story casino there with a parking garage under it if they want to.
That would be better than them using those 2 lands for property, for parking, when we can't even put parking for the
I
boys'
don't know
baseball.
what the neighbor on the north would think, but I don't think they would
I don't
want any of it
think-
either.
I'm sorry, excuse me, but I don't think either neighbors, either way,
No.
like this. And, I mean, you're the one that said we're gonna give them lights, so we're gonna receive money from that, right?
What do you,
Perry's supposed to bring in money.
what do you want us to do?
I want you to not cooperate with them at all. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And not all money is good money. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Anyone else, please?
Good evening. My name is Mary Waters. I live at 1108 Elm Street, and I do thank you guys for your service and for allowing us to speak this evening. I have several concerns, but one thing that was said earlier is that the Gaming Commission has yet to approve permits for this. And I was curious if the City Council is willing to assist the residents of Perry in drawing up a petition so that we might be able to present our case, so that we might be able to voice ourselves, so that we can let them know. We do understand that it is a very out-of-the-box situation, but we are pleading with them to reconsider to consider strongly before giving a permit. Would the council be willing to help us in this?
The council is the decision maker on on whether or not the zoning is granted. So it wouldn't be appropriate for the decision maker to take a side prior to the public hearing and prior to the issues being presented to them. Because, you want it to be notice, opportunity to be heard, everyone to be heard, and then the decision maker to make the decision. Now, as a part of the notice that we're sending out, the property owners have the right to file a petition. And if 50% or more of the property owners protest, then it takes a higher vote of the city council to pass the rezoning. So that's probably where you need to concentrate when the notice, and it says that in the notice. My forms say how you protest and how you get signatures from your neighborhood and how you file that with the city council. So that would be the appropriate place to do that in that process.
I think she was talking about, you guys were talking about two different things.
Okay.
She was talking about the gaming commission and filing with them, and you were talking about the notice is going to go out in regards to the parking lot.
Well, to answer that question, in that the PMA, now this is the city council, but in that the PMA has entered into the agreement, it probably wouldn't be appropriate. Six members of the city council or of the PMA approved the agreement, so which would allow them to have the use there and to serve them with utilities. So it probably wouldn't be appropriate for the city council to then act in bad faith with respect to that agreement. We approve it on this hand, but we will seek to fight you at another level. Do you understand?
Unfortunately, I do.
Okay.
And it is with great respect for each of you and your time that I say I'm incredibly disheartened that we weren't given an opportunity to speak out against this before that approval was made. Because I believe we as a community are very much opposed to this and would have liked the opportunity before a good faith agreement was signed representing us. I really think that it would have been great if we could have had a voice before it was decided that we were going to work with them. So my concern is I don't want to just focus on one aspect of how we can let them know that we are not interested in having a casino. I'm interested in hitting it with every barrel that we have, and I would really like to see what options we do have, whether it be denying zoning, whether it be denying electricity, whether it be petitioning the people who give the permits. I think that we need to look at every avenue, and I know that appearances are important and that it is good to play nice. And I believe in doing things in an upright way. But I also believe that this is something that our community doesn't want, and that if we stand up and show them, because we're trying to be heard, but we also want to be seen, if we stand up and show them these are the things that we are willing to do to say we are not interested in having this casino here, please stop, we might get more response back. So that's all I have to say, but thank you again for your time.
With all due respect to everybody that's here, at every council meeting we have this item on our agenda for comments from the public. And our agenda is published before every meeting. So if, it hurts me that you say that we didn't give you the opportunity to speak. It's, that item was on the agenda for us to vote on. And it's disheartening to me that everybody wants to come now after we already took the vote and get upset with us because we made that vote. When that agenda was out there for everybody, the public to see already. And so they could have came prior to the meeting or to that meeting to voice the opinion to help us influence our decision that night.
It was not given adequate time. It was one meeting that it was on the agenda. It was not given
Not
adequate
everybody
time.
gets the paper that can see that and stuff as well.
So, I apologize.
It is published though.
I do know that I was out of the country at the time, and it's not something I probably would have changed, but it is something that I would have liked to have known ahead of time before it was said that we support this as a community.
I think it definitely should have been given more time. That's my opinion. I'm with you.
Thank you.
But we've also discussed everything you've talked about. There's nobody on this council that wants this at all.
Thank you.
I am Jeannie Mitchell. I live at 1212 6th Street, and I just have a question that has been asked of me, and I know that you've talked about electronic games. Will there be any kind of restaurant, tobacco sales, alcohol sales involved with the casino?
At this time, we believe no.
But do we have any control over that? I mean, I just
No, we
know
do
I've
not.
seen these other casinos go from just a little tiny building and then within a few years, because I drive all the way up to Missouri and I pass these casinos that were tiny and now they're huge. And,
Well,
you know, I live a
the
block
only way they
north,
get bigger
so-
on this one's to go up, so.
Yes, but will people sell next to them and restaurants go in, or,
Well,
that's my concern.
That's your zoning controls that
Right.
we have
As far as the
on every other
casino-
lot in that neighborhood.
But as
Never
far as
had
the
a
casino,
commercial
it has to
property
go in a
line.
trust.
And,
Well, but, yeah, I understand, but so for them to expand on that lot, they would have to have it zoned.
no,
What
not on
is-
their lot, not on the
Well, I know,
trust.
but if they bought the lots, they can't expand the casino.
Right.
Well,
but
they can't, they
just like
can't
they
build
bought-
on those other lots either unless we approve it.
That's what I'm saying, it has to be zoned.
Because they are under our control.
Do you foresee at any time rezoning that street? I'm just concerned because, you know, my husband's planning to retire in about 6 or 7 years and we have
Rezone
this
the whole
house. What?
You want, I didn't understand your question.
Okay, my question is, do you foresee, I mean, I guess that's just a hypothetical question, but rezoning this street, you know, 6th Street, how do we control that?
The whole block?
Just
They have to
any of it.
request, whoever owns it or whoever buys it would have to request rezoning, and that right now is residential
Okay.
zoning on all those lots in there. And we're not proposing to change that whole part of the city into a commercial area.
Okay.
We haven't even dreamed of that.
I just want to say I have loved living on 6th Street. It's a sweet little part of town.
I'm-
It's always been a quiet little
Yeah.
part of town.
And to you who live there and near there, it breaks my heart for you, it really
Yeah.
does.
I mean, we've already canceled expanding our home because we don't want to sink more money into a home that may lose value, so. Anyway, thank you. That was my question. Do you want to know if there's going to be restaurants or alcohol? I just don't want an alcohol establishment to block south of me, so.
There's the commitment they have, that I understand it, is there's 150 games.
Right.
There is a soda fountain, just like they have that's free at the other casinos. That is the extent
Okay.
of what's going on. If they decide to have a little snack shop, then we'll have to visit that too.
Can they put in alcohol because it's tribal?
I don't know if they
Without
really want to,
permission?
but right now they're just trying to fill it up with machines to make a profit.
Okay.
There may be a vending machine for cigarettes, but not a smoke shop.
So what about the beer
Basically.
that I've heard, that they're gonna serve beer but not alcohol?
I've heard or not.
Well, to me, alcohol's
I don't
beer,
know.
so.
I'm agree with her.
Well,
Alcohol's alcohol, no
liquor.
what it comes
Yeah.
from.
That's all I'm
Sorry.
saying.
Okay.
They wanna make money, so I'm gonna guess.
Well, I know, and that's my concern is,
I'm not gonna sit here and say, I know definitely if there will not be any alcohol sold on those premises, because I don't know.
okay,
They won't commit to that.
okay. Well, thank you, that's what I needed, I just wanted to know.
I know they said there's not gonna be a bar, so I don't know what that entails.
I have a neighbor that lives, or that works up there, and she said that it's already in the plans. That set the casino downstairs and the full bar upstairs.
Thank you.
Could we get your name, please, for the record?
Roseanne Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Everybody's seen the plans with us.
I have a question on another subject, if everybody else is finished. No, I'm not finished.
My name is Danny Jarrett. Lived in this town 53 years, my whole life. How much time has it been since you all voted this parking lot in? How long ago was that? Can I ask that question? I don't know format here, so just correct me
There's
if
no
I'm out of line.
There's no parking lot that has been voted in.
Okay.
The
electricity then?
The tribe has the right to place a casino on that property
Right.
pursuant to federal law.
Right.
What we did is we entered into an agreement with the tribe where we agreed to supply them electric.
When did we enter into this agreement? You're saying we entered into an agreement with the tribe and we're supplying them electricity, sewer, and all of that? I'm just asking how long has it been since that was agreed upon?
About a month ago, right?
Was the third?
A month ago?
October the 20th.
Okay, October, that's not very much time to date for everyone, in my opinion, to understand what's going on here. This casino, you all know, everybody here is against this, is going to be a bright light place, it's going to be loud and noisy, it's, in my opinion, through hours of the night. People living in the area are going to be kept up from this, from traffic running up and down the roads. I know I'm a farm boy. I like going home, going to sleep in my house where it's quiet. If I go to Oklahoma City and stay in a motel where the traffic's running up and down the road all night, I'm awake all night, so that's quite annoying. You say it is or is not going to have alcohol, or do we even know? I'm just asking a few questions here.
Don't know for sure.
Don't know for sure, okay? I heard the deal, how we want to look to them, and about playing nice, okay? Are they playing nice? This is my land, I'm going to do this right here, right now. I don't get that as playing nice. And I think everybody behind me here is like questioning, why are we playing nice? I don't understand that. I know you all get a little edgy now. Well, I'm first one to kind of raise my voice.
No, you're all right.
But that's the feeling that is here. They don't want this. They want to know why I want to know why we have to play nice. I think if I don't want this here, and I have the authority to say, I'm not going to give you electricity for it, throw some burrs in their spurs, you know, make it not happen. My voice is kind of shaking. I've never stepped up in a place like this ever before, but I feel like a voice needs to be heard. in a firm way, but these people don't want this. And put my name on the record for standing up for them and saying it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
One thing we need to remember, you guys up here are elected officials, right?
Absolutely.
We elected you to represent us in the city. That says it all.
My name is Mark Uelman. Live fairly close to the proposed casino. My voice is probably shaking a little too, so. I will agree, of course, with pretty much everything that's been said, and don't really have a question, but I do kind of have a request, and that is, well, that we're hostile to this. I think that's the feeling of everything I've heard. And I also understand the predicament that we're in. There's very little we can do other than be hostile, but that is my request. And if we can't fight it legislatively, how about judicially? I'm not sure we can't bring suit against this for the social ills they will bring to our community. I feel like they're invading our community. I think the previous commenters have said it quite well. They're not playing nice. And if that's not feasible, and I'm very uninformed about that sort of thing, and maybe it's not, but I bet we can agree not to give them any concessions, utilities or anything else. Even if there's a financial penalty associated with that. I think we could probably aggressively enforce parking ordinances. I think we could probably aggressively enforce anti-vagrancy laws. There probably no shortage of those once this casino's there. I would, well, I've had my say, and that is my say. I hope we're hostile to this.
Thank you.
My name's Albert Quick. I don't live in Perry. I live in the county. And I've talked to a lot of people that are outside of the city limits of Perry, and they don't want to see this casino come into Perry neither. And that's what I want to tell you tonight. I don't. And I just want to voice my opinion in that way.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. Would anyone else like to address the council?
Yes, I would. Good evening. I'm Mackenzie Usery, and we just bought a house at 411 North 11th Street, which I know I'm across town, so I really don't have a dog in this race. However, I do have a child that is a sports player, and he frequently walks to the football field and the field house right down that path because there's not busing service. And as a parent, I'm very concerned because typically with casinos, there are alcohol sales. That's a given. If you say there aren't going to be, eventually there will be, and you're very disillusioned to that fact. My concern is whenever a drunk driver leaves that casino and plows down my kid on 77, I'm going to be one very upset mama, and rightly so. I do find it rather disgusting. I didn't want to move to Perry, Oklahoma. Whenever we bought here, we moved here in April. This was my husband's sweet little quaint dream town. Because it's so sweet and country, and it reminded him of his own town. I find it disgusting that our city council and governing body wants to keep up appearances and play nice because we don't want to look poorly as far as giving them utilities, zoning hearings, and just the general attitude of this from the city. City Hall is disgusting. That's my thoughts on it. You'll have a good night, and thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Coe. I live at 1801 Jessica Circle. And all I wanted to say tonight, I know people have expressed many opinions, is I think for most of us, obviously, we are educated better than we were when we started the evening as far as some of the legalities and some of the issues that are going on. But as the constituents here, knowing that most, if not everyone here, doesn't want this in place, if there are avenues that we haven't exhausted that we can, as the citizens, we encourage you to continue to do that. We're behind you in those thoughts. In any activities you can go along those lines, whether they cost money, time, anything that we can put up as obstacles. In this way, I would say as the citizens of Perry, we're behind you and empowering you to do that. As those we've elected to be here, I understand the difficulties of what this is. The other part of that is, besides just the zoning that will go on, if there's other things that we as citizens can be doing, more so than we are this evening by voicing our opinions. If you can let us know that, then we will be happy to continue to follow along with whatever petitions. If we need to go in front of anything that makes sense in front of the Gaming Commission or otherwise, if that is such an avenue that the citizens can take, then obviously we will be happy to do that as well. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I'm Jim Tabor, with 1201 North 7th Street. Basically, just have one question. You will agree with everybody's been up here tonight. I think it would be bad for our community. But my question is, has any research been done to see whether or not there's been another city in this country that's been faced with a similar type scenario and what they have done about it? Maybe somebody's gone through an experience like this, some community. And maybe there's an approach or an idea or a thought we haven't thought of yet.
All I can direct you to is read the Tulsa World and what's going on in Broken Arrow. It's an unsuccessful, successful type thing going on here. So it's in the Oklahoma City Times or Oklahoma City Daily Journal.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma. There's an article in there.
Probably the Tulsa paper, too, I'm sure.
There was an article recently written in regards to the situation in Broken Arrow and the spin that the person that put on there. There's also a web place you can go on Facebook, Broken Arrow Neighbors Against Neighborhood Gambling, and there was something that came down and they talked about that. Tulsa World put it out there that the tribe was going to be able to build. That was untrue. And that they're not going to be able to build in that. And so, I mean, news people write what they want. But there's also 2 other cities that are in the north that are fighting this as well and have been successful, and it is going to the Supreme Court. And from my reading with the things on Broken Arrow is that it, because I have contacted the people in Broken Arrow that are fighting that, which you guys would all be willing and able to do and find out what their strategy was. There were some differences in what they faced versus what we are facing now. And they even have people that are former judges in the Native American tribes that are fighting with them in regards to this because it's located close to a school. And so yes, there are places that you can look in that they have, and I respect our mayor's opinion and their opinions of the article, but they have been successful in being able to stop it for a period of time. And it looks like that situation will be decided by the Supreme Court.
Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell had another.
Is there anyone else that will on this subject? Do I need to restate my name?
No, thank you. We recognize you, Mr. Mitchell.
Sadly enough. My question is with regard to the new lights on Sixth and Fir and their placement. I don't know how many of you have driven through there, I'm sure everyone has. How on from two of the direction, you cannot see them unless you're parked way back from the intersection. That's a pretty bad safety thing. Is there anything that can be done about that?
We've addressed it privately and openly here, and that is that the stop bar was placed in the wrong location and needs to be moved back where you stop at that real wide, 24-inch wide stop bar. That's what that is. It's supposed to stop there. It should have been moved back where you can sit and look up and see the
Yeah, you're quite a ways
the
back.
lights without.
To view it, yeah. So, okay, so things are being done.
ODOT has said that they will repaint the stop bar, but that's,
That's the best they can do.
well, that's, but I haven't seen it done yet.
Yeah.
So your comments tonight will give us a little bit of additional information that we can, take to them and ask them to please do what they say they were going to do, so.
Thank you.
They do have a Perry number out here. And they love to hear from the public also. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very, very much for coming. This is
That's what we're planning.
the process in action. I represent every one of you, not just a ward, but I represent every one of you. And I want you to know that the battle isn't over in any means. We were on the phone this afternoon with the attorney for the tribe, asking questions of what we could do, what we can exchange, what we can give you or give up. Give up the money if you'll locate somewhere else. And that they're not willing at this time to do anything other than what they have set their plan to do. And as many of you heard, it's their right under federal law to do this. On that lot, we have no authority. My comments about what it would look like is that we don't provide utilities to that commercial property like we would other commercial properties that may be developed that we have already provided rezoning for, power and electric to, water and sewer to and from. They could hold us as being prejudiced. I took a sworn oath as an elected official to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Oklahoma above all else. Above my faith, above my family, I support the Constitution. I took a sworn oath to do that. And I'm sorry, I will not violate that oath. I'm sorry. So, when it comes to a commercial entity requesting water and sewer, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to provide water and sewer if it's within my authority to do so. Because that would not be the right thing to do. It would look prejudiced and bigoted, and I won't have that appearance from me.
It's a dangerous statement, though.
I know.
We should have prejudice against the type of business it is, not against the people who are doing it.
That I support,
Type of business.
100%. That I support.
And we should show our prejudices against that type of business if we don't like it.
And there's not been a person here who's brought into this race or
I know.
culture. We've all talked about it from the sense of how it impacts us. It really doesn't matter who's putting a casino there. It is the impact it has on us. And
I don't want a
that's
beer
not
joint
anything
there.
we
I don't
have.
want a convenience store there because it's too close to our ball field. That traffic generator is what scares me, just like it should each and every one of you.
There's Indians here that still don't want it, so it's not just
I
a
understand that.
discrimination thing.
I'm a Native American myself.
So am I. So's my mother.
Is it okay if I know I can do it the next point, or I could do it now? I have a couple things to say in regards to this. I don't want to be out of order.
We're taking it up now.
Okay. Couple things. One, I personally sat down and talked with the chairman of the Oto tribe, and just want to say he was a very nice guy, very pleasant for us to go and to speak with, and we had a great conversation in regards to things. And from his words to me, there is no agreement with our sheriff's office except for them to be able to use their jail. There is no police agreement, nothing like that, as it was stated earlier. And so he said that has not been done. He did not say, though, that, he said that's something we probably need to talk about, so I want to be fair with that. But there is no agreement in regards to that. The other thing is that he had stated that there are people that are calling that want to get out. And they want to get out, and they said, we want to try and oblige them, that they live in the neighborhoods around there. They want to try and oblige them as best as they can so that they can add parking. In regards to the crime that was mentioned, as far as does the crime go up, does the crime go down? I've looked and I've talked to towns with casinos with the size that we're having come in. I have looked up statistics on the internet. Of course, we know they're always right? But, and I've spoken with people that have schools within the close distance of a casino. The results that I got is in large casinos, crime goes up about 40%. That's large casinos, that's not what's going to be put in here. But even a 10% rise is not good. The other thing is that when it's been near schools, that the schools are constantly dealing with lockdowns, because when something does happen at a casino and someone is loose, the schools have to be in lockdown. And that is something that is tradition with the teachers that have worked in those school systems that are right there. I don't know that you're going to hear that from anybody as far as a principal or anything, because they don't want to cause undue issues with their casino that's there. But they are faced with lockdown because of the crime that is there. From the chairman's mouth, one of the ways that we are going to be able to earn money is through the tickets that we're going to be able to write when the people do come in our community, and that was from his mouth. And so, again, he was a nice guy, but that was something that he said. And in regards to things that cannot be done, I am not sold that we have absolutely exhausted every opportunity that we have with such an issue that we have in our community. And I would encourage this group that's here to realize that this council is going to hear from you. And I know I've worked with these guys, and I have a lot of respect for the guys that are around this table. They've had to wrestle with this, and nobody at this table has ever said, yippee, we're getting a casino at this location. Nobody's ever been excited about that, and I want to say that about that. But in regards to being able to petition, somebody needs to do it. The words that I were told from the chairman is, I said, what if I told you that people do not want this in our community? And he shot back with me, show me the numbers, because we have over 1,500 cards of people that go to their current casino in the 73077 area code. And so we have brought this on a little bit ourselves because we participated in other areas. I'm not here to talk about gambling, and I know I'm a pastor, but in order to show them the numbers, then you need to petition it. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, there's just really nothing we can do. You don't know that till you try. So, but those are the things that and Tim, I don't know if you...
I'd like to speak to. I actually went with Brett and visited with him. We set up the meeting on our own and went, and I mean, what he said is exactly right. That's verbatim out of his mouth. And my thing, I understand there's 1,500 cards. Probably people, plenty of people that's been up there, but again, the community is sitting here saying that they're not against it being somewhere else. They don't want it right there on the corner of 6th and Call. When I voted no, for this, because there's some things there's willing to put up a fight for. And I think this is one of them. Sometimes money's not everything. And this time money's not everything. I think that's what this community is saying. And I just think that everybody around here needs to listen. You know, we don't need to say we're done. We need to do every possible thing we can. We owe it, you know, somebody made a comment earlier that we're elected officials and we're elected to take care of the things in the town, but we're also here as a representative of the citizens of Perry as well. So we don't need to take that lightly. As representatives of the citizens, I feel like we owe it to them to give them everything we can and every fight in our bodies to do everything we can to see what we can make happen here. But like I said, Brett and I went up there together and spent close to an hour with him, and we made it very clear it has nothing to do with prejudice toward anything. And he said, very respectful man, but he told us too that, you know, he did not believe not wanting it there was prejudice. As a matter of fact, he made a comment that as far as gambling goes, that he don't put any money in the casinos because he don't think it's worth it either. And he made that comment himself.
So a question is probably going to be asked, and it's maybe asked outside this room, so I'd just like to ask it, because one of the things our chairman did say was the linchpin in the whole deal for them is the agreement that we made. That was the final straw that told them they can move ahead. Now, whether that's what we got, but that was what we were told from the chairman, from his mouth, that was the linchpin, was the agreement. And I'm hearing from a lot of people that's saying, there's a lot that deals with costs, and I think they need to know what would be the cost if we voted to get out of the agreement.
Good question. $1,000? $50,000? $100,000?
We don't know.
Breach of contract action, you know, it's not
Bryce,
covered.
Can you
if
talk a little
could-
louder?
You might sit up and talk,
Yeah,
because it's hard for people to hear.
It's not covered under the Governmental Tort Claims Act, so there's no limit on liability. If it was covered under the Governmental Tort Claims Act, the limit would be $125,000. For breach of contract, you just sue what your damages are. So, you know, they would say they would make a claim for actual and prospective. And, you know, there'd be an issue of foreseeable future. You know, to the extent that they had to acquire other utilities from other carriers, and if we moved to try to prevent that, then they could theoretically bring another form of lawsuit against us. But, you know, I mean, they can get electric from a rural electric cooperative. They can get water from a rural water cooperative.
They gotta have a line.
They gotta have a line and a right
They gotta
of way.
approve a line.
Well, no, it all depends where they put it.
So with this agreement, was there,
Of course, as a
the day it
utility,
was signed, was the day the
as a
agreement came
utility
into
company,
effect?
we do have to make our decisions in a non-discriminatory way.
Well, I understand, but when somebody comes to me and says, I'm putting this here whether you like it or not, me saying no is not discriminatory.
I agree.
It's you're forcing me to make an approval of something that, I'm sorry, if ACES came to me today and said, I want to relocate at this location, you'd have the same issue right now. You would not have, you'd have people here that say, I don't want this right here in the middle of the
Unless
neighborhood.
ACES had a right. If ACES had a right, and you could do nothing about it.
I still
mean,
have to
that's
provide the
the,
utilities. I
that,
still don't have to provide
that
them
of course is the issue here.
And the reason why I'm thinking this is because of my conversations from people that have fought this.
Okay, well, right now, let's talk about where we are, okay? We have a contract that's been approved by, and everyone has held their nose approving it, but it's been approved by a majority of the members of the Perry Municipal Authority, okay? In order to even start to turn that, you've got to get a motion to reconsider that. You have to put that up, and then you have to be willing to face the music whatever the damages are. Now, the attorney that is representing that group in Broken Arrow is a gentleman that I know, and he makes $500 an hour. And perhaps if the council wanted, the greatest articulation from the mind of an attorney that does this on a daily basis, and not me, I mean, I'm a municipal lawyer, I'm not an Indian lawyer, they could set aside, I would say if they set aside $10,000, maybe $20,000, and then they could get a treatise written on what legally you could do under these facts to turn something around, okay? That would certainly be done by someone other than me, because I don't have the expertise to do that, and I don't have the expertise in the courts. But if you wanted to do that, in order to get that, the first thing you have to do is have to have a motion to consider the prior action. Now, we have a group of people in here that are all of one accord, okay, and there are 5,159 other people in the community, some of which may have the exact same view, okay, and some of which may not. But we have heard tonight the folks that are against this project, as many of us were too, and asked them to please move it, okay? Right now we have a process. The process is when the tribe brings us their application for rezoning and site plan, we have a duty to run that under the agreement and under our own power, legislative power. Anybody that brings in something, we have to put that through to a hearing. Now, if you want to reverse what you've already done, you've got to have a motion to reconsider brought by somebody who voted with the majority in the original action and a second, and you have to reconsider it. But you have to consider the damages which may flow if you do it. And remember that, of course, that may not stop anything. I don't know that you cannot supply them utilities. I mean, I don't know that you can do that. However, perhaps an Indian lawyer could enlighten you there. So I would say if the council wanted to turn around, it should allocate a bunch of dollars to get the right attorney. It would put an action on the agenda to try to rescind the prior action, and then stand ready to take the breach of contract action that flows from that. Other than that, you could stick with the current agreement, because we've heard from some constituents today. We haven't heard from all the constituents today.
So what, do we have a vote? I mean, is that to hear from all the constituents in Perry?
Well, no, the representatives have taken their action.
Right.
I mean, an action has been taken, and the action does presuppose the rest of the actions that would occur. I mean, we could have let that occur. If in fact zoning doesn't occur, or site plan doesn't occur, although the Perry Municipal Authority is supposed to use their good faith and best efforts to see that gets done. If that doesn't get done, then we'd have to see how it shakes out. At that point, we lose the money, okay? And the way I structured this, the city didn't enter into the agreement. Okay, I mean, the city is there, but the city didn't make the promise on the zoning. The PMA made the promise on the zoning. And I mean, there just needs to be put through the process. And once it gets put through the process, I suppose you find out where you are on the other end. But I would caution the council. I mean, we've heard from some representatives that are against this. If we filtered it down, there are the folks that live in the community that are not in my backyard. Certainly not. I have, across the street from me, I have a pre-release center across the street from my house. And I don't want it there. And I don't want it there at all, but it is there. And I live with it over in Enid, okay? Nobody wants it in their backyard. There's no doubt about that. Okay, and then there's the people who are against gambling just because they're against gambling, casinos in their community. But and that is a viable thing. I mean, that is a real thing. This is the Bible Belt, and that is a real feeling, and people really have that feeling. And I think that that's a lot of the folks around this table, and a lot of folks in this community have that. But you have to set that aside with respect to this federal law issue. The issue about the zoning and planning, I mean, that is an issue in that neighborhood. And that has to be preceded by public notice, public hearing, and those hearings have to be real. And we're going to get a recommendation from the Planning Commission, and it's going to come up to the City Council, and the City Council is going to make a decision. You know, nothing can be slam dunk on it. There is an agreement to supply utilities. And there is an agreement where if the zoning occurs, we get paid. Okay? And actually, it's when gaming first occurs there, we get paid.
So,
But hold on, one of the clauses in that agreement is that if, for whatever reason, the zoning does not happen,
yes,
that agreement is null and void.
That's right.
There does not need to be a breach of contract or anything like that. If we don't rezone that, that agreement that we sign is null and void.
So our hands are not tied.
That's why,
Why don't you go through the process?
that's why we were saying go through the process, because the key here is there's two hearings that you guys need to keep in mind. One is the hearing, the public hearing is gonna be before the Planning Commission. The next will be the hearing that's gonna be before us. So if one of those two go through and we don't rezone it, then that agreement that we have in place with them will be null and void.
The question then is if it was null and void, would you extend utilities to them, not take the money? And that, of course, is going to be there could be an action to compel utilities, and, that, of course, would be a little simpler to litigate than a federal gaming issue.
So if I were a citizen of Perry, and I didn't want this casino, they need to fight on that end with the Planning Commission, and they need to start getting a petition involved. What legally do they need to do in order to have a legal petition? Seeing that we're not calling for a vote, this is just saying we don't want this.
It's the folks that are located within 300 feet. Those folks, you have to get at least 50% of the folks that live within 300 feet of the property. There's an exterior boundary of the property to be rezoned. And then there's a radius out from that. And we'll send the notice that the folks within that area, more than 50% of them need to protest. And then it requires a higher vote of the City Council to pass the zoning.
And so, do they have to get a special form at city office, or can they just come up with their own form?
No, I mean, everybody who's a property owner needs the sign. If two people own the property, Mr. and Mrs. John Smith, they both need the sign.
Like the previous petition we talked about.
No, it does not. It does not need to come under that form. It could be, we, the undersigned property owners,
Can they come to you and ask for advice?
Absolutely. It would take me 5 minutes to kick out a
That's the
petition. And we should
constitutional
probably
process.
have a petition form like that anyways. It's nothing like the other one. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, the other one's trying to call for a public vote,
we just need to verify who they are and that they live there, and that's all.
We send out a letter telling them what's gonna happen. All they gotta do is send a letter back saying, we don't want this to happen, and sign it. All the owners of the property, Mr. and Mrs., whoever, they're the partners in that property or owners of that property, need to say, we don't want this, and sign it with your full name that you use when you sign the vote. Make sure that we can read it and we know who you are. Send a letter back or bring a letter to City Hall as a response to the one you get sent to you about the hearing. That's what we ask for at every zoning hearing. They ask, are there anyone who's against this or protests this? And occasionally we get someone.
I think we just need due diligence though to make sure that these people are well aware of when these hearing dates are.
They'll be sent to every property owner.
Yeah,
That'll be in the paper.
Within that radius.
It needs to get filed 3 days before, with the city clerk, 3 days before the date of the hearing.
And they can show up at the hearing as well and protest. as well.
Sure, but if they want the petition considered, there needs to be an objection filed by those persons within 300 feet, filed with the city clerk 3 days before the date of the hearing. That's the date of the hearing before the planning commission.
But I would still recommend another petition with the city so that we can hear the voices of the.
But you will get a letter explaining all of that.
On making a petition,
Within 300.
we have to go through the city hall and get a permit and everything?
No.
No.
Well,
You don't need a petition. You
It's just,
need to
it's just,
respond to the
if you
letter.
wanted to do a petition, are you talking about a petition against the zoning?
Yeah, the people around it.
Yeah, I will kick out a form.
I believe there are two approaches here, though. You're talking about the legal requirements in order for the zoning. But I think that we could do even maybe another thing, and that is a general across the town petition where we turn that into to the tribe and say, this is the people in this town who don't want this here. That's not a legal thing, but it lets them know the general attitude in this town about it.
Amen, that's great.
And they may change their mind on, that gives them something to think about.
Well, and you brought up the agencies and this. If you call your state senator's office or your state representative's office, they'll get you those addresses and those people's names. And that will tell you right who was gonna make those decisions.
If we call our state representatives, we get the names of the people who grant the permits.
Your U.S. congressman and your U.S. senator.
Yeah.
You just need to call their office. They'll find you that information. People, it's wonderful. I'm excited about what's going to happen. I hope you stay diligent, stay true to your beliefs, and if you are really soldiers wanting this conquered, then don't back down. Keep up the fight. I applaud you personally for your efforts. Anyone else have any comments? Council? Thank you very, very much. We are going to go to our next item now.
Yes,
Yes.
it's appreciated.
If the council will allow me, I'd like to proceed to item 14 to be next. It has to do with the rental, with properties. And there's people here that've been here a long time, and they want to speak, so we want to get this through and let them have their time to speak.
Wait, that's not 14. No, 14 is 14 is about the one-time.
Number 9. I'd rather have 14 while everybody's here.
Well, 14, it's on the same topic. That's why we thought, since these people are here to talk about the casino.
Oh, he said rental property.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Next item.
Well, I thought we talked about
Item 14, we're going to go ahead and go. It has to do with the one-time payment. I'll let Tim or Brett explain this item, the reason they asked for it.
Hang on just a second. Can't hear.
Okay, the reason why this is brought before the council, that and this really came out of the meeting with the chairman and going and visiting with him. And the whole idea on this is we do not know what we are coming up against in regards to the casino, in regards to the crime rate, in regards to how our police officers are going to be able to police, and even with the involvement of the fire department. However, we are also, in the way this is written, is that this is to be spent at the discretion of the city council, with priority given to the police department, fire departments, so that we can be able to offer something to those two departments to be able to offset some of the extra expense that they could possibly incur as a result of the extra work that they're going to have. And one of the conversations that I've had with cities in regards to casinos at the size in which we are getting is that the police are constantly out patrolling. Now understand this too, and this was an education for me, is the only jurisdiction that the Oto tribe have will be within that casino boundaries. That's it.
Just that one.
That's that one area. They will have to, if a parking lot happens and it goes on, that's our city. That's in our jurisdiction, or the sheriff, because they're county. If it goes out in the street, it's us. And so where I'm looking at in situations to where we have 2 officers that are on duty at all times, 2 patrol officers that are on duty at all times. And I could very well see with this great possibility of us needing more than 2 officers on duty at all times at night, especially. I would think even, I know during the day we got issues, or we have administration and stuff like that for backup. But the last thing I want to do is have an officer not have backup in any situation, because if they're faced with a situation at the casino and we have another situation in town, we're in trouble if it's at night, because then you're waking up another officer and trying to figure that out. And I know that, and I really do believe, I know our officers probably cannot speak so much, but I would think if you brought them in here, they have great concern in regards to patrolling our streets with this casino coming in town.
Well, they also, he said that the only agreement that they have right now, I think it's been stated that they have an agreement with the county to provide for the casino itself, but that's not true. They don't have an agreement to provide law enforcement officers there. The only agreement they currently have with the county is to house prisoners. So they have no law enforcement agreement in that area, even at the casino building, if it goes there as well.
What they're saying is they'll have their own security inside the building.
Yes.
Outside the building will be our responsibility.
Off the property, not outside the building. They could come outside the building and still be on the property.
Well, yeah, but on their property, it's their
Yeah,
security.
exactly.
They step across that line, it's our responsibility.
So I have a couple of thoughts on this.
Okay.
My first thought is, I think it might be premature to even talk about it, because we're not sure if we're already going to have to worry about this or not. But the second thought is, whenever, we haven't got this in the budget at all, any of this money. So when it comes time to, if this all happens, and this money comes in, we would have to have a budget amendment to talk about it. And I think at that point, that's when we would talk about this kind of stuff. But
What I don't want is though too is.
Well, there's a perception, I'm just gonna say it, that it's no coincidence that the 250,000 equals what needed to be donated for the baseball fields.
And that was brought up by the
And
chairman too.
that's something I want to dispel. City council never talked about that, we never agreed to that.
The city council
So I didn't think
did,
about
but the chairman brought that up, that was even mentioned to him.
That was one of the very first things that he brought up.
That's what he told us. So, I don't know who's saying it, but somebody has said it, and that needs to be, the city councilman, if you wasn't in that meeting, then, that was, I don't know what was said. All I know is that, I don't believe that Chairman Sutton would have told us that either if something wasn't said. But that's why we put this on here too, because the bond issue is supposed to take care of that, of what was needed. And that's kind of where we're going with this, is somebody's gonna have to explain to me if we didn't have the money to take care of that then already.
But in the meetings
That's
that
my
we have
question.
had about this topic, nothing was said about any ball field. Any
The
bond
only thing I
issue
remember.
or anything else.
The only thing I remember is knowing there was that number out there, but not knowing where that money was coming from, nor was it ever said where that money was coming from. But that number was thrown out a lot of times. I know we can get 250,000. And so you have to understand where I'm sitting there and he throws it out, I immediately looked at him like, what? Are you kidding? And so that was being done there. I just want to point out too, Brad, that this isn't not a big, lot of strings to this, you know, as far as it's not tightening down the way the wordage is.
And that's why we're.
No, there's no teeth to it
I-
at
we
all.
just need to make
That's why we
sure,
work on it.
we just need to make sure that everybody knows that that money will be spent at the discretion of the city council,
Right,
so.
right,
It's kind of like an if-then statement.
right.
If this is forced
But
upon us,
if,
then.
if this ends up going forward, where we have to worry about this money, hopefully it won't. But if it goes forward, we have to worry about this money, then we need to make sure that it's in here, that it's not just put in the general fund or whatever, and monies can be spent doing whatever we want to either. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my eyes opened real big when he made the comment, that's how it was presented to him, that we needed, I mean, his exact words was, he was told we need $250,000 more to cover the baseball parks. And that's not true, we don't. That money was already set aside for that, so,
Now, that was paid for before we had the.
yes.
Well, we will certainly follow the Oklahoma statutes as far as budgeting and appropriations, and the city council ultimately has the final say on how that money's to be used if
Yeah.
and when we do actually receive it.
I guess that was
So-
my point, was that
And so,
we'll have to have a
That's
budget
why
meeting.
this was put in, that's why this was put in here too, though, we did.
It's something
But you
for us to
still
keep in
have to
mind when
stay-
that budget amendment
Absolutely.
comes.
there'd still be an opportunity, I mean, there'll be another item on the agenda, or if and when the money's ever received, the city council would be making the decision. And this really doesn't have any binding, it's just an indication.
Okay. Yeah, so there's no action to take on this right now, because there's no money to talk
I don't know
about.
what,
I don't think.
I would think so.
You think there is, or you don't think there is
No,
not
it's not an item on there to be,
voted on?
it is an item to be voted on. I mean,
I'd like to get an agreement.
Yes.
I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and take a vote on it.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
No.
Down,
Yes.
Loxley?
Yes.
Marshall?
No.
Norman?
Yes.
Nation?
Yes.
Wade?
No.
Johnson?
Yes.
But passes.
Next item. We want to go to 9.
So we're back to 5?
go back and look at that.
Okay, let's go back. City manager's report, item 6.
Oh.
Yeah, item 5, proclamations.
Anybody got anything? Kind of thought what we did with this last deal was one of those. Any proclamation, commendation, report required by the governing body.
There's only 9 in this bid. Go ahead.
Okay, item 6, city manager's report.
Tyson, if you can, we have a couple of slides on the construction out at the ball fields to show you. This is a sign that's been put up at the site.
A lot of dirt.
And there's a lot of dirt work that's been done. We have construction coordination meetings every 2 weeks. It'll probably become weekly as we get farther into the project. But the rough grade is 100%, and the finished grading is starting. And you saw the project signed. Underground utilities will start going in this week or next week. We'll start seeing lots of above-ground work. The lights that will light the ball fields will be delivered this week. In preparation, there will be underground utilities going in. So, like I said, we'll start seeing some above-ground, not just dirt work, but they have moved a lot of dirt out there. It's pretty amazing if you haven't been by.
I think according to the project plan, they're supposed to start doing the pad after Thanksgiving?
Mhm.
So
They're
is that
gonna-
still on schedule?
Yes, yes. Actually, that's gonna be ahead of schedule a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, they're gonna be doing the pad for like the concession stand and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
I would suggest when the field is done that we have a council baseball game out there.
How about softball?
That'd be good.
Well, you have 9.
softball.
You have 9 around the horse.
Nine.
You have a
We'll-
team.
We'll challenge the fire department.
We're gonna play work.
We don't want that in the police department. We-
Hey, Mary's our
The
ringer.
town doctors, I'm sure appreciate that. We'd all be in there for it.
Oh, yeah, be sure to have it on a day, the next day the doctor's offices are open.
Yeah.
Anyway, just moving on, OMPA last Friday hosted a lunch for our elected representatives, and Vice Mayor Wade, Dixie, and Brian Wheatley were there. Really just to explain to our elected representatives what OMPA does and how the importance of electric public power is to the community. I don't know at this point, Dixie or Conley, if you have anything to add, but I think it was a good discussion. Talked about the importance, talked about the legislative issues.
Yeah, it was well received, I think. I mean, Dennis had a lot of questions, probably more than anybody. Dennis Casey, very interested in what we were doing, how he could help, through OMPA, help us, you know.
I know Representative Pfeiffer is so new, it's
Yeah,
probably a
you could
little-
tell he was real new and he didn't have a lot to say. AJ was also, I guess, interested, maybe not as much as Dennis was. Dennis very concerned though, in knowing what we need and to just let him know. And I felt like he was really
I think
hard
Dennis
in.
probably has more public power communities in his
Right.
area, and so that probably would, his interest would be an indication of that, so. Anyway, it's just good to always have contact. The legislative session will be starting after the first of the year, so lots of issues will be addressed, coming up. Last week I was in Dallas at the Texas Dealmaking Conference. Oklahoma has a group of about 15 cities that have gone together to form a coalition that promotes their communities, and even though we're individual communities, we all do work together on behalf of Oklahoma. And I would say, and while I'm not making any predictions or projections, but I did have a very good conversation with the Oklahoma Walmart representative in regard to our store here in Perry. And I will continue to be have contact with her, provide her information that she needs, probably more than she needs at this point. But anyway, that was probably, I felt like the trip was well worth it just by having that conversation with her. She's an OU grad. And so, for those of you who are OU grads,
We'll try not to use that against her.
don't.
Wonderful.
But she really is, she would like to see something happen here in Perry, and so I think making that contact and continuing to follow up will be helpful. Talked with a number of other retailers. There were 5,000 registered at this event. Lots of cities, just like Perry, were there. Lots of Texas cities, obviously. Brokers, land developers, retailers. It's runs the gamut. Retailers aren't as desperate these days, and so because their businesses are going pretty well, and so there weren't as many retailers there as there was the year before. But and these. It's all about relationships, establishing contacts, working those contacts, and everyone that I've talked to said it doesn't happen overnight. You have to work with the people and show them why Perry is the place for them to locate. So, like I say, not making any predictions, promises or anything like that. Last week, BNSF had the 15th Street crossing closed down, and they've extended that closing through this week, depending on the weather probably, but they were thinking maybe tomorrow, maybe through Wednesday, is that what they said?
Right.
So depending on the weather, if that delayed them for any reason, it could be a little bit longer, but we hope that it'll be well worth it.
That project kind of cracks me up. They replaced that bridge in one day.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can't
They've been working on that.
They haven't
They
been back- they've been back
replaced the
since.
bridge in one
One
day.
day.
I was wondering if ODOT saw that happen.
Yeah, but we can't, but it's been a week now, we had the crossing shut down.
Hey, they can get a train.
They had all the parts of the bridge on site.
Is that right?
What are the parts for the road crossing?
That's why I think Tim's right, the bridge slows down the train.
That poor crossing.
Crossing doesn't.
No.
Yeah, they haven't
I
been
don't
back
think we can
since,
call that a crossing.
they haven't been back
That's
since the
priority.
bridge was, finished.
That guy told me he had to do it in 14 hours.
What's that?
He had 14 hours
Yeah,
window
bridge.
to replace the bridge.
Well, I mean, the trains are shut down while they're doing that, so they have to be fast.
Yeah, they work nights to replace the bridge. They set lights up and work nights. They hadn't even worked day or night since the bridge.
They got tired out, man.
They worked 14 hours straight.
We need Conley to go talk.
They got down.
Yeah, Conley's a rut.
Okay.
I'm being real okay.
Okay. We tried to beat the weather a little bit, so we did rush the Christmas decorating around the square and in the courthouse yard. So please don't be too critical of us for doing that, but we did try to get out and get it done before the weather got too bad. So, and remember to support our local merchants, please. And that's all I have, if there's any other questions.
I was just snickering at number 5 on the list.
Oh, yes. We do have a few campaign signs, thank you, I missed that. A few campaign signs from the governor's election out and around the community. And
Wow, that's our sign order.
so we would, just ask that those be picked up by the respective parties. I don't know that the candidates are going to be actually coming back and picking up their own signs, but hopefully those who are Republicans or Democratic leaders.
But you did notice that they were mostly Democrats.
Yeah.
I did, they were mostly Democrats, so.
Do we charge if we have to pick those up?
Well, probably not, I don't know where we'd send the bill, so, anyway.
Take the office.
It's always good to kind of get those cleared out after the election's over with, so.
I've got one on my deck.
Oh, one other item, there was a memo that was put on your desk. We received a notice from the Corporation Commission on a hearing for seeking to establish a 320-acre spacing for the Big Lime production strata. We made inquiry and we received a response back, just basically to assure you all that we are looking, trying to stay on top of this, because it is in the area of Perry Lake, which is one of our water sources, and so trying to make sure where the actual pad will be established, tank batteries and all that sort of thing. So we are trying to look out for the water supply.
Yeah, have we looked, I mean, they're claiming, they're 2,300 feet north of the lake, and they're claiming it's topographically flat there. Are we verifying that? Because that doesn't,
This letter, we just got this today.
okay,
So,
yeah, because, I don't know, that doesn't feel right to me, because we know which way that everything flows to fill our lake, and that's from the north, right? So, it doesn't make sense to me. But
we'll plot this on a map just to make sure where it
Okay.
is, so.
yeah, I may be off a little bit, it's off the left or right or something.
I'm done.
All right, thank you. Item 7.
I'm gonna go quick. You guys really don't wanna hear anything too much. Good news, all around. A couple things, you'll see our cash is up for the month. If you're looking at your budget versus actual, we should be at about, we're quarter the way through the year, so, about 33% of our numbers ought to be rolling in. Everything looks pretty good from that standpoint. All of our expenditures are where we would expect them. Revenue, sales tax, we're up about 5% over where we expected to be, so that's good news for us. We're continuing to carry that out. We'd expect to be up about 3.5 right now, so we're still up above where we would expect money to come in. So all in all, I don't have anything negative to say about our general fund. Likewise, about our utility piece, all of our numbers there are holding strong. All of our expenses are being conservative. You know, I would make a comment, but Chief, I guess, ran out, and I was going to comment on police and say what a good job he did this month, but since he ran out, I'll just have to
He
say
can watch
that
the
maybe
tape.
for
You can
next
tell Wayne
month.
how good he did.
Wayne always does good. I don't have to worry about the fire department. That wasn't the one I was good at. Oh, here he comes back in. Too late now. I'm already done with the report. One thing that I was going to share with you guys, and I just told Mary about it just a few minutes ago, but the city of Clinton just finished passing a utility rate increase. 50% water rate increase effective January 1, 50% more effective June 30th. 100% rate
What
increase
town
in
is
their
this?
water.
Clinton?
Out in Clinton, yes. 100% rate increase. I've
The
been
one that's
around.
got the new hotel with the water park?
With the new water park, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It all goes together. I'm saying that just to say, you know, I mean, I've been around a long time, I've seen a lot of water rate increases. There are dramatic things that happen that come about. And Clinton getting water, False Lake has gone dry, you know, there's a whole lot of issues in the drought. And so they're having to go back and build. But guys, our minimal water rate increases and things that we do year in and year out are one thing. I will be reminding you guys of 100% rate increases in the future, because well, I'm not gonna say, it'll be very tough to ever have to suggest that to any of the communities we work with, because it's a major downfall, a major problem. So we need to be thankful for what we have. We need to be thankful with the water revenue and the water situation we have. We're not out looking. I know we're working on sewer, and that's actually something is it coming up? Yeah. It's on the agenda
Yeah.
here in just a minute. You know, I mean, we've got some expenditures there. We're gonna have to continue to focus on that in the future. That is where our utility infrastructure, you know, lapses. We've got the rebuild of the electric that's been done in the last decade. We've got the water secured. We know where we're getting our water. If we can keep our sewer tightened up and keep those kind of things, then the utility services that we provide will be under control, and we'll be able to, you know, leave the community as you guys leave office at some point. Some of you sooner, hopefully, rather than I meant.
I've got the big circle.
I'm looking at this side of the council, but no, you know, if we can, in the long run, always leave this better than where we found it, and better off in what we're doing. It will be better for our citizens and for those around us, and I would say that we've served our community well. So, just a side thought, because I mean, I really didn't have any number things that I had to tell you, but that is something that I really thought we needed to talk about at some point. Questions or concerns about the numbers?
Nothing, none. In honor of Betty, what happened to that?
I was thinking the same thing.
It's on there. It's on there. It is on your report this month, so I didn't have to directly address it, but this is the first month that we fell under $30,000 in hotel motel tax collections. We still exceeded what our monthly commitment for debt service and for the chamber and the Main Street. We exceeded that, but this is the first month that we've fallen under $30,000, so.
By how much?
$2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is the first time that we have not exceeded that. And Betty wasn't here, so I thought I was gonna get off from having to address it, but.
Have to bring up item 8. Thank you, Russ.
2.5 minutes.
Item 8 is consideration of Resolution 2014-15 of the City Council for the City of Perry authorizing and establishing the City of Perry Christmas Lighting Electric Rebate Program, providing for public purpose, providing for the amount and limitation on the rebate as provided in Exhibit A. Y'all, it's the same one we've done every year that I've lived here.
Second.
There we go.
Thank you.
Vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Moxley?
Yes.
Marshall?
Hey, you sit there, she can do it.
Norman? Nation?
We got a lot of
Wayne?
stuff.
Johnson?
Yes. Well, you
Pick our
guys,
battles.
it's no good. Item 9, appeal by Mr. and Mrs. Bobby D. Avery of the administrative orders of Matt Biswell in the certain certification of dilapidated structure matters, namely 800 Cedar Street and 1115 Elm Street. Y'all read the background. Mr. Avery would like to approach and discuss.
I'm asking to have this set aside because I'm looking for legal help, and I got a note here from the lawyer that if I can get it transferred for next month.
For the next meeting,
Yeah. That would be,
what is our December?
The latter part of April, May.
December 1st?
December 1st is the next meeting, and the one after that will be the 15th.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
you want on?
December 1st or the 15th?
15.
December 15th?
Do I have a motion to say?
Does it, I mean,
Can we
what's
ask,
the ramifications of this?
He's seeking legal advice concerning his appeal of our,
Does he have a deadline from our end that he is
Yes.
supposed to be meeting right now?
Yeah,
Is it
there's,
within that deadline?
yes, there's an administrative order, but he has appealed
Okay.
to you. And if you want to, you can continue that until December 15th and consider it then.
Would it be okay to ask, I mean, the details of the order, I mean, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's two structures which, well, actually, it's one structure. One has been released. It's one structure that Matt Biswell believes should be certified for demolition and knocked down and demolished. And Mr. Avery wants the city to reconsider Mr. Biswell's decision. Is that fair enough?
So,
Which one was released?
11:15 a.m.
So we're talking about the property on Cedar. Okay.
Catty
So-
corner from here.
I might be missing something, but what does Mr. Biswell do that I thought he was not?
He is the zoning, you have to have, to set this up correctly so that all these matters don't come before the city council. The city has designated the city manager as its zoning officer to hear these certification of dilapidated structure hearings, high weeds and grasses, graffiti, those types of issues. So Mary you guys have designated her or her designee, and she has designated Matt Biswell, who is a fireman, but also has a number of certifications in mechanical heat and air, building code official. He's probably, I mean, Jason's working on him, but Matt, I would say, is equally or more certified at the current time. Would that be fair?
Yes.
And so the person in our community that has the most certifications and probably the most knowledge in that is the one that we have making those decisions. And they're appealable to this board within 10 days of any decision. And this just doesn't happen very often. And Mr. Avery has exercised his right.
May I speak?
Sure.
Okay. I have been remodeling old houses in Perry for about 40 years. And I got a little piece of paper here. I remodeled every down at 18 old dilapidated houses. And I started my first one, I bought it for $1,500 and sold it for $34,000. And I did 18 of them. And I'm saying, I did 18 houses, the dilapidated houses, and turned them in. And my last house I did in Oklahoma City. I bought it for $7,500, and just about a month ago, I sold it for $230,000.
Well,
I mean, I'm not saying on this, I just need more time. The outside is perfect now, after two or three things. But, I didn't have enough time to get the electric done inside and some of the stuff getting ready to, but where does it come that you have to have it ready to rent? Why can't I I've got 9 houses right now, and there's 6 of them I'm paying electric on that I don't use.
I'd like to make a motion to,
I'm
table-
sorry, sir?
Is that correct? Table this until December the
15th.
15th.
Here's the problem though. I think currently under the, what the current ruling was in November, I think it was November 3rd when the meeting was, he was given 30 days. If we don't give him some sort of a continuance past that time, if we wait to the 15th, you'll be past your 30 days.
Well, that's what I was asking with the appeal, that,
Yeah,
is that correct?
the action would be stayed
Okay,
until
until the
such
appeal is
time
heard.
Okay.
as you guys consider.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if we just said,
Right.
wait till, it's okay, we need to be sure that he's covered.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
would
what I
I would
said.
like,
I'll
may I
second
again?
the motion.
May I talk? I
There's
would
a
like to
motion on the
have,
table.
Mary,
There's a motion on the table.
I'll second.
oh, is there?
We have a motion and second to help you understand, to delay action until the 15th.
Okay.
Now, does he, is everybody clear about what he has to do to get off this list? I mean, it's not, it doesn't have to be move-in ready, right? It just has to be secure.
No, it has to be brought up to code inside and out.
That is
So it
my
has to be
problem.
livable.
Yes,
Okay.
we can't force him to make somebody live in it, but it has to be livable, brought up to code.
Okay,
Yes, live and ready.
okay, got it.
But we don't know,
So,
right now, we're not discussing really the history
No.
because he's wanting legal representative
Right.
to do that for him.
Okay,
Is that
got
correct?
it.
We're just gonna delay action on
Yeah,
that.
so no action needed.
So we have a motion and second, roll call?
Stroller,
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. The 15th, come back.
okay, thank you guys, appreciate it. May I give this to Mary?
Yes, sir.
That's the 18 houses. You can go through it, and if you will, look at that last house I sold.
You showed that to me this morning, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, you showed
A
that
lot
to
of
me this
work.
morning.
I work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
And
it.
good to see you,
Thank you.
but I can't remember where I know you from.
Oh, probably a lot of places, but every one of them's gonna remember.
Thanks, appreciate you, all of you.
The next item, yeah, we're ready to hold.
Yeah.
Item 10, consider approval of bid and award of contract to SL Madison Construction LLC in the Commercial Park Construction Access Road Project for $24,358.50. This is for the access road in front where we'll have a car dealership.
It's just a temporary
It's a-
construction access.
It's a
not-
part
So, okay.
It's just a temporary.
There's no way we're
Yeah, we
gonna
didn't
get
get
that.
it.
Well, I ain't-
Wow.
She's the deal maker.
Yeah, no kidding.
Do we have a second?
Do we have
Second.
anything from Vance when he's gonna start?
You made my,
I talked to him.
I make the motion.
motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We got a second. Roll call.
Hang on, further discussion.
Yes.
Further discussion.
Was this the only bid, or was there other?
Yes, it was the only bid.
Really?
There's people full of plans but didn't bid.
And what
That's
have we
pretty
done from
interesting.
Vance about this?
He has one more submittal from his architect for the foundation, for the drawing for the foundation. And he fully expects to get this thing rolling before the end of the month.
I don't know how many times I've.
They may wait and bid the paving.
Do what?
They may wait and bid the paving.
Oh, I got a whole nother question about
Okay.
it, so, no, go ahead, we'll take that up later.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Stroller,
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman.
No.
Where am I at, Nation?
Yes.
Wade. Johnson.
Yeah. Okay, number 11, receive recommendation regarding street names for Grace Hill Cemetery, take action if appropriate. Jack and Darlene Roads.
We have another map to distribute.
Yeah.
The one that was in the packet was a little blurry, even with my glasses on. I I thought I didn't have my glasses on, and I actually did have my glasses on. When I was
I
trying
mean,
to.
I just looked one on his ball. You see that we,
And we've made a couple of revisions from the one that was in the packet.
oh, there it is, victory. The signing for this, Mary, how are we gonna take care of mounting the signs?
We have, I've asked for for Sam Harmon to give me a cost estimate on the pole, the signposts and the street name signs.
Footings.
And the footings and all of that, and what that will cost. And we're hoping that it will be underwritten by a donation for the materials, and then the city would actually install the signs, is how we propose to handle that part of it. Darlene and Jack Rhodes are here tonight, so I don't know if they, Darlene, did you want to speak on behalf of this, or? Since you sat through the whole meeting.
I'm always ready to speak. Sometimes wishes I'd sit down and shut up.
So, did you give her an updated? Okay, good.
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
First thing I want to do is correct who did this. It was the American Legion Auxiliary. We don't have a VFW here in Perry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
gonna
we've been
stretch
called
that out
VFW
right
before, but it's American Legion.
American
Should
And
warn my
I
auxiliary
knew that. I don't know. Bryce apparently didn't know that.
And
I wrote that out, and I'll recommend Bryce on that.
Did you say discipline whoever did that?
Yeah.
We felt that it would be easier. It's difficult for people who come in on the weekend when the cemetery is closed down and people come in on the weekend or holidays and they have no idea where they're going. The section names, A, B, and C and so forth, are not out there anywhere. So we felt that this would be a little easier for them to determine if these maps were made available, possibly at the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, they're not open on weekends or holidays either, but somewhere they could get a map like this and see where their loved one is buried and go by the street names. You know, it's between Freedom Drive and Peace Drive, and in that section there, Honor Drive and Patriot Drive. It's in that section bounded by those four streets. We felt that it would be a little bit easier, also easier for us to direct people, or anybody who's directing people to that. I was sitting at home this evening thinking of this, and I thought it would be neat if we had everything on the east side of Grace Drive to end in Drive, and everything west of Grace Drive to be a lane. Then that would further distinguish which side of the cemetery. I mean, if you're looking for a lane, you don't drive all over the cemetery looking for it. You know it's going to be on the west side of the main road. Otherwise, I don't have any.
How are they listed? How are when a person wants to find a loved one, how is that located now?
They will be located in section C, lot 14A. They have no map to indicate where that is.
Could we put those sections out there with a sign, if that would further help? Because the old descriptions will still have the section A, lot so-and-so.
Right.
It'd be the ones that were produced from some date forward that would have these street names on.
Right. It would help tremendously if the section numbers are numerical.
I know mine's listed by section 3, something, something.
Yeah.
Or section
Most of them are section A.
Where's yours at?
People coming in have no idea where section A is.
And there's not a map at the entrance with,
No. So,
Which
You just gotta
we certainly should be able to put a map.
well, that's
Yeah, we
one
have
of
to
the projects that we want when we get this
A
done,
board.
to fix somewhere. Many years ago, when I was in the genealogy society, we wanted to make a canopy on the south side of the office and maybe have a bench or two there and a map on the wall that is covered.
That'd
that-
be great.
That they could show that, but we never did get around to doing that. So this is something that we thought would help. And I realize that the streets out there now have names. Some of them are unpronounceable. I don't know where they come from, how long they've been there, but there's no street
sign.
marker, there's no signage to tell where those names are. But it could be that we could, in addition to the street signs, then we could put an A or a B or C or whatever that particular section is.
I just know that if I went out there, you could have all the street names you want to, but if I couldn't find section 3, lot so-and-so, then I'd still be lost. And I revolted against when some mother-in-law wanted to put me next to the street because I knew you guys would drive over me. So I put it up on the hill. Anyway, I appreciate your efforts and the auxiliaries' efforts here, and I think that the council will agree we need to put street signs out there since we have it, and Mary's already committed to getting cost estimates on that. I just would like to, the council to direct to putting symbols out there for the sections also, because there's a number of us who have family out there, the only way we can locate it is by that section and lot number.
And I also know that sometimes there's no dividing mark between sections. We've got 2 or 3 out there that I'm not sure where usually, a road divides the section. And, but up here on the north side of Harmony Lane, which is the newer part, that's 2 or 3 different sections in there, but there's no roads or paths or anything showing where they're divided. So that was a problem when I was out there inventorying the veterans' graves.
It's tough to go in after the fact and try and come up with something, Again, I applaud your efforts. Any other comments from the council?
Jason, what are these, I can't read what's your changes on here.
The blue, what's in the blue?
What one? Yeah, it's still ain't helping.
Well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but I think I know where you come in the front gate and turn right and go down Harmony Lane. We had it coming on the north side and then down the west. And then we had another name for that. And if you'll notice, Grace Drive goes all around that east section. So Jason suggested that Harmony Lane do the same thing over here on the west section, which I have no problem with that at all.
All that part that says in yellow Serenity would be replaced by Harmony.
Right.
And then Sage would be gone and Serenity would take its place.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, that would be good. The only thing is, well, I guess this one up here is Grace Drive. Okay, I wasn't even looking at my own drawings. So. But I don't have any problem at all with that. My daughter will probably shoot me because she wanted Rosemary Lane, named for her mother-in-law who was buried in that area, but it makes sense to carry Patriot Drive on down there and cover all of it, so we have no problems with that.
So, did I hear you right, that one side you wanted all lane, the other side you wanted all drive?
Well, that would make it a little easier for somebody coming in and looking now. My
didn't like that
ancestor is
No.
on Patriot Drive.
She, I think this came to her. in-
Just this evening. Yeah, just this evening.
I got you.
Or afternoon naps.
After we'd already turned
And I
all of
think
this
it
in.
makes, it really does make, it's very logical. It's kind of
Yeah,
like having
I kinda
all
like
the,
the idea.
all the name streets going one direction and the number streets going a different direction, so that you kind of have a grid that you know you know, what's what, so
Well, if
we can
someday-
certainly.
If they get that my ancestors buried on Freedom Road or Freedom Drive, then there's no use going to the west side of the cemetery. It's on the east side,
Sounds good.
if that makes sense.
So,
So if you could just maybe authorize us to
Yeah.
implement.
well, and also the mayor had indicated that maybe we wanted to put additional symbols to mark the sections out. Is that minimal cost, or we don't need to worry about that for the budget?
It'd be something the city would probably, you know, the donor, if we do have a donor, I think committed to the street name signs, but if we did the section numbers, it'd probably be at the city's expense.
You're right.
Cemetery's expense.
The sections are A through Z, so you would need at least 26.
If someone buys a lawn.
Surely there's a map somewhere showing the section.
So you never know.
But I was thinking, I mean, because I was considering making a motion that we go ahead with these changes, but in addition, we would have the symbol, the section symbols as well, but before I made that motion, I wanted to be sure that that's not I don't know how much those cost.
I really don't know either. I mean,
Okay.
you know, at this point, I mean, maybe you could authorize staff to research.
Yeah, let's do the cost estimate on it.
Yeah, okay, so I'll move that we'll go forward with the changes presented, and then authorize the city manager to investigate the cost of the section symbols for us to consider later.
Second.
Motion is second. Everybody ready to move? All right, let's vote.
Stroller,
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Norman, Nation,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your hard work. We appreciate it.
We apologize for not giving the American Legion Auxiliary the credit.
Yeah.
We will,
Bryce thought it was the VFW.
That's not the first time it's happened.
Who was it?
It's the American Legion.
American Legion.
We don't have a VFW.
I didn't catch it.
I didn't either, I didn't catch it either.
oh my goodness. All right, item 12,
Council call, told me or something.
consider lump sum payment to OMRF pension for Tina Keith.
Move to approve the lump sum payment.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Discussion?
Fire.
None? Vote please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Norman, Nation,
Yes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item number 13, consider approval of contract with Crofton Reynolds Construction, the contractor on the sanitary sewer replacement project, CDBG 2014 contract in the amount of $488,000. Oh, let me reread that now. $488,205. Subject to approval of bonds and insurance by the city attorney.
Right here. I mean, it is a sewer, but that's not how you spell this company name.
It's KRAPFF.
Yeah.
Kraft.
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 Crap.
Reynolds.
Not KRAPP.
No, it's Kraft.
Right.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
That's not you.
You got a second?
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Norman, Nation,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 15, new business. Any new business to be brought before the council?
Home stretch.
Seeing none, item 16, consider convening into executive session for one purpose of conducting performance evaluation of City Manager Mary Rupp and for purpose of confidential communication between the governing body and the city attorney concerning the litigation styled City of Perry, Oklahoma versus Hembry Hudson Construction LLC and Land Plan Consultants LLC. If the governing body, with the advice of the city attorney, determine that disclosure will seriously impair the ability of the governing body to process a claim in the public interest.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Norman, Nation,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Johnson.
Thanks, everybody.
Stroller.
Here.
Dow.
Here.
Moxley. Marshall.
Here.
Norman. Nation.
Thought we were saying
Wade.
yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Motion to reconvene. Roll call.
Bill, you threw us all off.
Darn it, Bill.
We have
You said here it's
a,
supposed
we
to be
have,
yes.
we discussed.
It's roll call.
Motion to reconvene.
Motion to reconvene.
Oh,
So roll call.
You're sleepy.
She always says roll call.
I always say roll.
I was here, okay?
All right, item 18, gentlemen, is there, and ladies, is there anything we need to consider?
Make a motion to approve Mary Rupp's amended contract as presented.
And then number 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
What's he calling?
Here.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
You got it down? All right, roll call.
Stroller.
Here.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
You have to give an affirmative.
Norman.
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
Wade.
Here.
Johnson.
You guys are fired. Yes.
Make a motion to
That's in
adjourn.
April.
Wait. Not done yet.
Motion on item 19?
Which one's
we talked
that?
about-
19?
Wait a minute. Did we talk about the,
There's no action there.
No action needed.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Stop that.
Roll call, please.
Stroller.
Yes.
Dow.
Yes.
Moxley.
Here.
Marshall.
Yes.
Norman. Nation.
Here.
Wade.
Yes.
I don't know if it's or.
It's all right, I had to say it.
Yo.